In the first half of 2023, plane stories were actually fun. We had a mysterious young woman on an American Airlines flight get up out of her seat, go to the front of coach, look back at the dazed and confused passengers and said, "That MFer is not real." With those words, she would captivate my heart, and from there, many videos would proceed to be made. What is her name? Who is this mysterious woman? What did she see? Did she see an AI human? Did she see a reptoid? Did she see a ghost? Was she high? Was she drunk? There were many videos discussing this mystery. Then we found out just a day before her flight, a British boxer by the name of Tom Cowling also saw something that terrified him. This incident would deepen the mystery even further. Now, by all accounts, Tom Cowling is indeed still missing. In the first half of 2023, aviation was a fun, mysterious time. That would all change as we proceeded into the later half of 2023 going into 2024, when aviation became downright terrifying. We went from people seeing things on their flights to people acting possessed, acting like demons, trying to open the plane door. Then we had plane doors exploding off planes, wheels coming off planes, the actual wing not being bolted down, engines catching on fire, and then we had news stories where people were passing away on their flights. We had a man flying into Germany from Bangkok just exploded blood. He didn't throw up blood. The news report stated, the passengers stated, this man just exploded blood, liters of blood all over the plane, passing away in the process. Now we have a news story that just came out. Well, it might have come out about 2 days ago, but it's still a fresh news story where a mother of two mysteriously passed away on her flight as well. Now, here's the thing about flying that many people may not realize is that the change of altitude can have an adverse effect on your health. If you have a heart condition or some type of condition with your brain, it's always best to check with your doctor to see if it's okay to fly. If you have a bad heart, clogged arteries, higher altitudes can constrict your arteries even further. With that being said, mother of two, Stefanie Smith, she passed away mysteriously on her flight back from Dominican Republic. Friends and family stated she had no pre-existing conditions. Family and friends of an Indiana mother said they were shocked and stunned by her sudden death as she was aboard a flight returning from a vacation in the Dominican Republic last week. Investigators in Turks and Caicos said they are investigating the February 28th death of Stefanie Smith. So this happened on February 28th, but new information is still coming out. Who was aboard the American Airlines flight from Dominican Republic to North Carolina. Smith, 41, fell ill mid-flight, which prompted an emergency landing in Turks and Caicos, where she was transported to a hospital and later died, the Turks and Caicos police said in a statement. Now, this is a very sad situation, a very sad case. She's a mother of two, she was on vacation. Last thing anybody would expect is her falling ill mid-flight and passing away. Now, this story really does hit close to home because as I stated in my previous video, my wife and I, we were on vacation in New Orleans. Going to New Orleans on a plane, it was very smooth. But coming back was a different story. Not only was there severe turbulence coming back, but my wife also fell ill. She became extremely sick. Mid-flight, she developed a very severe migraine to the point she started to vomit. The flight attendants were able to give her a very large trash bag for her to vomit into, but I'd never seen her get this way before on a flight. She developed some sort of severe motion sickness. Once she got off the plane, she was very pale, she couldn't walk, she was still vomiting. The night ended with both of us in the hospital. This was a very terrifying scenario because she was fine in the airport, everything was normal. Mid-flight, she just became severely ill. Something like this occurring on a plane, you really don't have many options. Now, one of the theories I have spoken about in all these plane incidents where people are either becoming severely ill or they're acting insane, acting possessed, One of the theories I came up with is that they are being drugged with something they are eating inside these airports and somebody is drugging them. Now, that is only just a theory. I'm not saying that's really happening, but it's a theory. Against my better judgment, someone who always covers these bizarre plane and airport stories, my wife and I ate Starbucks inside the airport. Now, nothing happened to me, but like I said, she became severely ill. But continuing on with Stefanie Smith's story, a cause of death was not immediately determined, and medical examiners are conducting an autopsy. Smith, like I said, was vacationing, and she was vacationing with her boyfriend for 5 days and seemed healthy right before the flight, according to her friend Maria Yanotti, who was also on the trip. Her friend Maria Yanotti stated that she loved going to the gym every day. Even when they were in the Dominican Republic, she was going to the gym, she was working out. She made it a point to get up every morning to go to the gym and run on the beach. Now, I know what some of you are thinking because I see this come up quite a lot in the comment section. Could she have gotten the jabberoo? Now, we don't know her jab status. We don't know if she's a jab person or a person who is against getting the jab. But we do know that it has recently come out. There are 13 severe side effects. They are saying they are rare, but there are 13 side effects getting the jab. Some of these side effects definitely sound like they could be a complication, trouble for certain altitudes on a plane. Myocarditis, brain inflammation, and so forth do not interact well with certain altitudes. But again, I do want to make it clear it's not confirmed whether she is a jabbed person or not. I am only mentioning this because that's something I do hear a lot of in the comment section of these style of videos. Now, to play devil's advocate with the jab, my wife and I, we are not jabbed up. And like I said, my wife became extremely ill mid-flight, but it could be two different situations. My wife might have gotten food poisoned. Smith's boyfriend was sitting next to her on the flight and said her eyes rolled back and she started convulsing. I mean, it's just really weird. You're fine the whole time inside the airport. You're fine the whole time during vacation. But as soon as you go on the plane and perhaps flying at a certain altitude, you become sick. Now, a doctor and nurses on board the plane helped to administer CPR to Smith before the plane made an emergency landing. So they were not on the ground. They were, like I said, they were flying. Now, this is indeed different than the other individual who passed away on his flight flying into Germany. They were still on the ground. They did not take off yet, and he was showing signs and symptoms while still on the ground. He was sweating profusely and throwing up blood inside the bag, and they still decided to take off. Stefanie Smith was fine the whole time inside the airport. She was fine while they were on the ground, just that mid-flight, her eyes started to roll in the back of her head and she started to convulse. Now, as I stated, the article finishes with, Smith was a mother of 2 children, an 18-year-old son and a 16-year-old daughter. According to her brother, he was also not aware that his sister had any pre-existing health conditions. Like I said, this is a very sad story. It's a very horrific story. This is the last thing you would think would happen while on vacation. Now, there were stories about a couple years ago where tourists, they were visiting the Dominican Republic, they were eating and drinking certain things inside hotels and becoming gravely ill. Multiple people passed away. They were poisoned from whatever they were eating or drinking. Now, we don't know if it's the same thing happening here. Those people became ill almost instantly. And like I said, Stefanie Smith, she was fine inside the airport, she was fine on the ground, but mid-flight, she became sick, she became ill to the point that, unfortunately, she passed away. Now, this is the most recent information that has come out 3 hours ago. We don't know what caused her to pass away on this flight, but I do hope we get that information. I do hope that is available to us. I know a lot of times this should be private, but if she did have some kind of condition that conflicted with flying, it would be good to know to save more lives. If she did have a pre-existing condition and someone else has that condition, maybe they'll think twice about flying or reach out to their doctor. Or it could indeed be something else altogether. But something like this is still very important to know. In any case, thank you so much for watching. If you like this channel and you want to see more, please subscribe. If you're already subscribed, please like, as any engagement does help the channel grow. Once again, thank you so much for your support.